Welcome back, folks, for the 9.6 test server patch notes video. Now, originally I thought the 9.6 patch is going to be a small one like the 9.4 with a bunch of bug fixes and small other stuff. But apparently, Wargaming is introducing the view range nerfs for the tank destroyers that's currently in the game, as well as buffing light tanks. So tank destroyers could no longer spot for themselves as easily, and light tanks play a bigger role in the outcome of the battle. So, alright, I'm kind of a little disappointed because I play tank destroyers a lot, so oh well. But this view range nerf is for almost all the tank destroyers in the game, so I can't complain that much. Alright, so here are the new tanks introduced into the test server. Now, I did do a bunch of leak videos about these tanks, so go to my channel and look for the leak video category to look up these tanks. So here we go. Now, first off, we have the AXCDC, the Chasseur de Chars. So basically a tank destroyer, which is basically a medium tank at tier 8, premium medium, and it is the size of a barn. So alright, now pause this video if you want to look up the stats over here, but there are too many stats for me to go over, so pause this video and look for yourself. But alright. And second, we have the FV4202 as a tier 8 premium tank. Now, the most recent news about this tank is that we're not getting it for free if you already have it at tier 10. So they're still bickering back and forth whether if it's a mission or it's free or whatnot. So I hope it was free, like as it is for the T-34 when it became a premium tank for tier 8 after tier 9. So it was tier 9, then became tier 8. So, or the T-30 when the T-30 was a tier 10 heavy tank. But yeah, they're not giving away the FV4202 for free, so that sucks. Bummer. Here is the ISU 130. So it is given out to moderators, so you don't see this tank a lot, but it has horrible gun traverse, about 4 degrees to each side. So it's even worse than the ARL, tank destroyer at tier 6 for the French. So it's terrible gun traverse. Alright, but the gun's not punchy as the 152 BL10. Ugh. Alright, and here is the IS-5 or the Object 730. So it's basically an IS-8 stock with 122mm D25T. So bleh, okay, it's a premium tier 8, so competing against the IS-6. And here is the Panzer III OS-K. Now, this is the only piece of information about this tank that I have, so it is the first time that you see it, and I don't have a leak video about it. But apparently it's a tier 5 heavy or medium tank. I was about to say heavy, it looks like a medium. Alright, it's a tier 5 medium tank. It has 50mm of frontal armor, 30 at the sides, 50 at the rear. So it is the same as the VK3001 P, I think. It is the douchewagon number 3 or douchewagon number 2, whatever you call it. So it has no armor, but alright, it's a Panzer III. So okay. And here is the Scorpion. Pretty nice. I'm thinking about getting this one because it's pretty OP. Obviously, it has insane camo rating, I hope, and very good gun traverse arc and gun depression. And I'll cover all of these, so I shouldn't talk that much. Alright. Here is the STA-2. I already did a video about this one as well. It doesn't have as good of a 90mm gun as the STA-1, but it's a premium tank. It has less armor and less mobility, but whatever. And lastly, we have the T-54 model 1945. So basically this tank is a T-54's hull armor with a T-44's turret with a 100mm gun that has about 175mm of penetration. So this is going to be a tier 8 premium tank, and I will do a leak video about this medium tank coming up this week, so likely tomorrow or something like that. But it doesn't have preferential matchmaking, and if it does, I think it could be the next Type 59, but apparently it doesn't have preferential matchmaking, so it's still a good tank in my opinion because it has the T-54's hull armor, and the T-44's turret is not that bad, so it's a decent medium tank. Now, the only problem I have with it is it doesn't get preferential matchmaking, but shooting tier 10s will give you a lot of credits if you manage to penetrate. So, alright. And here are some HD pictures on the model remakes for a few tanks. Now here is the FV4202. So, small cupola. And the Type B barrel 20 pounder looks a little bit bigger than usual, but alright. So it is a pretty model, so quite decent. The turret looks different, a little bit different in my opinion, but alright. Here is the Lion, the LOL. So, it looks better now. Oh, it always looks pretty good, so it looks better now with more dust on it, I guess. More dust. But here is the M4 improved. So basically they wanted to improve the armor on the M4 Sherman by increasing the slope with a boxy rectangular shape. But I'll cover this tank soon, so give me time. I've been lazy. Alright. Here is the Object 704. So yeah, it has a machine gun now, and the tracks looks pretty goddamn porn-like. It's tank porn. Oh, that looks amazing. The BL-10, always. And it gets a little machine gun. Here is the T-95 Doom Turtle. Looks more gritty. So the armor take a few hits, so it looks weathered the storm a bit. Alright. It has a bigger 50 caliber machine gun on top. That's always nice. More junk, like the canvas and toolbox and other crap that you don't need, or just cosmetics, whatever. But we always like more junk, so that's always a plus. And that's it. And here we have some live gameplays of the new tanks introduced with the 9.6 patch. And here is the ISU 130. As you can see, it can take a few hits with the matlet, but if you get shot anywhere else, it gets easily penetrated. So yeah. Also note that the gun arc on this tank is horrible because it's only like 4 degrees to each side, which means you have to turn the hull of this tank destroyer quite often if you want to shoot on target. And this tank has a big aim time as well as big aim circle, so accuracy is not the best. Also note that the alpha is also not as good as the 152. So shooting this STA here means that you cannot one-shot him, and he could easily kill you with his next shot. So he got lucky there. Oh well. Here we had the AMX 1357. It is like the AMX 1375, but you have a rather fast-firing 57mm instead of the 75mm. So this tank has poor gun depression and gun elevation, which means that you have to expose yourself quite often if you want to shoot targets. But the inner drum cycle of the shell reload is only 1 second, so it's like the Cheery. It can hit targets rapidly and set them on fire or something like that. But this tank doesn't take a hit pretty well, so get shot and you can have your turret ring damaged or your engine right here. So he does pump out shots, but one shot to the front of his tank means that he has a damaged engine, so that's gonna suck. Now here's a little pro tip about the AMX light tank series. They have good camera rating than the rest light tanks of their same tier. So basically the AMX 1375 has better camera rating than the T71 and the WZ, but it has less mobility than the two, so use it to passive scout instead of active scout. That's a little pro tip. Alright. But it is still pretty zippy. Alright. And here we have the STA2. It is like the STA1 with less penetration, less armor at the front, and less mobility, but makes up for it with more credit making capabilities. So, alright. It does have the gun depression, which is very nice. And I think the gun elevation is a little bit better on the STA-2 than the STA-1. But remember, this tank cannot penetrate hard armor like the T-54, so don't go brawling. But in this case, the T-54 is running away, so that's quite alright. And the gun's alright. Now you do have to take opportune shots on this IS-8, so don't go brawling with no armor tanks like the AXCDC or the Japanese line whatsoever. But the penetration on the gun is alright. It's not spectacular like the STA-1, but it's still decent. It can go through the front of an IS-3. Now, how does he not take ram damage from that? I have no idea. That's BS. RNG Jesus. So, alright. But remember, you have no armor. About 45mm to the front, so it gets easily penetrated. And lastly, we have the AXCDC. Now, this tank has a good sniping gun with a very good penetration, about 215mm. So you can snipe with this gun. And the DPM is pretty good. But remember, this tank is big. It is a big medium tank. So get exposed and you get shot. Also note that the drive wheel is pretty big on this tank. So if you get hit in the tracks, it is likely that you will be detracked. And that would suck. But the good feature, or the amazing feature about this medium tank, is the power to weight ratio about 35. So it is climbing this hill at about 55 kilometers per hour. That is pretty goddamn good. It can climb hills, whereas other tanks are climbing at 25, 30 kilometers per hour. It is climbing at the double of the amount. So Jesus, that's fast. But remember, this tank has no armor, but it does have gun depression, so you can crest and shoot at targets behind a hill. But you cannot trade shots because you have no matlet and no armor. So yeah, don't trade shots with big stuff like a Rheinmetall Borsig. Also note, drive wheel is pretty big, and get hit means you get detracked and you get stuck. And getting stuck with a Rheinmetall Borsig with 150mm is bad idea. So bomb bomb bomb. And here are the juicy bits. Now, as always, it will take me a billion years to read through everything. So pause this video and read for yourselves, because I get slurry, I get my words mixed up, and I talk to myself and I sound weird. So I don't want to do that, but pause this video and read for yourself. But here are the price change for the premium tanks introduced with the 9.6 test server. The AMX 1357 got a price change to 5,000 gold, which is fair for a tier 7 light tank. So if you like the AMX light tanks, this is not a bad buy. It's a pretty good buy in my opinion. Now remember, AMX series have good camera rating but less mobility than the other counterparts like the Americans or the Russian or even the Chinese. So use passive scouting with the AMX. Alright. AXCDC got a price reduced to 7,450, which is good in my opinion for a tier 8 medium tank. Now I think it is a better buy than the Panther 88, but yeah, that's up for debate, so we'll see on the test server. But that's still a decent price change. STA-2 has price change to 7,400, which is also good. So it's like the Panther 88, about the same. Ugh. Alright. And the Scorpion got changed to 7,000 gold because it's tier 7 now. So the price range is a little bit above SU-12244 or the AT-15, but still fair. And considering the Scorpion is OP, this is not a bad price. So alright. And here are the light tanks buff as well as nerf for a few. So as you can see, the Chinese are getting a buff other than the premium, so that's gotta suck. The Awful Panther is getting a buff, the T21 Light, the T54 Light, and the MT25. So these are the heaviest buffed. The T71 gets a slight buff with accuracy while shooting on the move, and the T37 gets nerfed with accuracy on the move as well as rear range, and the Bulldog gets DPM nerf. So alright. But what is interesting is that the French are not getting anything. So the French are unchanged. So, huh? Alright. No buff for the French, I guess. Or no nerf as well. Alright. And here are the exact nerf and buff for various light tanks. So I don't want to read through everything because it will take me forever. So pause this video. But here we go. Dun 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 dun. Major DPM nerf. Ooh, that's gotta suck. Alright. I like the T71. It's a little cockroach, so it's a better cockroach now. That's actually pretty good. I like it. Alright. The T54 Lite is just introduced. Oh, it gets better terrain resistance, better reload, better accuracy shooting, and more HP. It's a medium. Alright. And here are the view range nerf for various tank destroyers in the game. Now, this view range nerf is across the board from tier 2 to tier 10s. So you can see here with the tier 2 British tank destroyer, it gets a view range nerf. So that's gonna suck. But there are a few other tanks like the T29, which is a heavy tank, so it gets a slight nerf in view range on the stock turret. As well as, where the hell is the other one? The T34. This is a tier 5 Russian medium tank. It gets a slight view range, well, not the slight, holy shit. It's an 80 meter view range nerf on the stock turret. That's that's crazy. Alright, but judging from this list, the biggest tank destroyer that gets impacted, I guess, is the Waffen triggers. They get nerfed hard. 420 to 380, 410 to 370. Yeah, the Waffen triggers are getting it rough with this one. Oh Jesus, it's 40 less meters of view range. That's rough. That's so hard. That's what she said. Oh Jesus, that's just insane. They have no armor. Give us some view range, for Christ's sake. But there are a few tank destroyers that are not nerfed. Tank destroyers like the Hellcat. I don't see the Hellcat on here. Or the T29/2. Or the T29AT. So some Americans are left out of this nerf, which is great. But I wonder why. The ISU is getting nerfed. What about SU? Yeah, SU-152? I don't see the SU-152. Serb, you strong Russian tank. God damn it. But yeah, mostly the hardest affected ones are the Waffen triggers. Ugh, that's gotta suck. RL is getting a boost. That's a tier 6 French heavy. Wait, you have more view range on the stock turret? Oh, no, I'm reading this wrong, obviously. Alright, that's fine. Alright, and here are the rest patch notes for the 9.6 test server. Now, you already saw the view range nerf and the buff for the light tanks. So, buff. New vehicles, the T54 model 1945. I'll post a leak video about this tank soon, as well as the M4 Sherman improved. So, alright, as well as the Panzer III Ops K when I find some more info about it. HD tanks, so that's always nice. I don't have any of these, so that sucks. Alright, fix some errors in the visual model of the Sherman 3, Firefly, the Tiger, the T-37, Archer, Grant, Bulldog. Fix some land terrain issues with Prokhorovka, Redshire, and Steppes. Fix the terrain. Okay, I already read that. So this is why I don't read. Map mines changed for better gameplay. I need to figure this out. So if they added more hills or more ramps to the middle part of the map, that would be great. But alright. Dragon Ridge got removed because it's just basically a hill in the middle. Added Lakeville mines to and Sand River to the team battle mode. Alright. Reworked the team battle mode. Alright. Stalingrad map have some barricade changed, so it's less corridor E. Alright. Improved effects on steps, mountain pass, and Sand River, blah blah blah. Add an option to log in via social networks, so You can bother your Facebook friends and other crap. Rework the contact list in chat. Good. Added the option of retrain crews from one role to another. So Silent Stalker says it's radio man to driver, which is great because you have a few crew that's useless. So some loaders you can change to radio man, or some radio man you can change to commanders or something like that. That's always nice. Fix a bug with tank twitch when playing a replay. Optimize memory use in combat. Optimize the display of some effects while playing. And fix some client freezes and crashes. So better FPS and more smooth running of the game. That's always nice. Now, final thought about the 9.6 test server is that I saw the nerf for the view range coming for the tank destroyers, but I still don't like it. I still am disappointed because I play tank destroyers a lot in comparison to heavy tanks or medium tanks or light tanks or whatever, because you just camp in the back. That's so easy. It's so so rewarding to just beat up on people and just not take a hit. So I'm a cheap asshole, I guess. But yeah, I saw the view range nerf coming because spotting for yourself with the binoculars and camouflage net is pretty OP. Now, you don't want to have that late game because some tank destroyers will just camp base with their bush and some awesome view range. So yeah, it's less campy for sure in my opinion. So you do have to require the assistance of light tanks to spot for you. So light tanks play a better role within the combat or within the battle. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, it's a decent nerf, I guess. As for the premium tanks, the best tanks that's coming, in my opinion, is the Scorpion. That's always going to be fun. The T-54 model 1945, the T-54 with the T-44's turret, that's actually a pretty good premium medium tank because it has the armor like the Type 59. So it's almost like the Type 59, but it does not get the preferential matchmaking of the Type 59. So that's the only bad part about it. But other than that, it's not a bad medium tank. So those two premium tanks are the ones I'm looking forward to. And for the rest of this patch, the CDC looks fun, but looks like paper, so it's like a glass cannon. Pretty fast glass cannon. As for the other premium, the SDA2 doesn't look that good in my opinion, as well as the FE4202 at tier 8 now, so bummer. I haven't played the M4 improved, but it's just a Sherman, I guess. Sherman. Ugh. As for the IS-5, it is like an IS-8 at tier 8 with 122mm and preferential matchmaking. So I don't know if I can deal with the 122mm D25T anymore because it's a good gun on the tier 6 when it's on the IS, or not the IS, the KV-1S. But for now, it's alright gun on the IS. It's disappointing gun on the SU-12244. Even though it has a crazy rate of fire, it deals crappy penetration against tier 9s frontally, so it has no accuracy. So I've been playing with the D25T for the longest time because I play both Russian and Chinese branch lines and they both have it, so alright. But it's alright. It's alright of a tank, I guess, for the IS-5. Now, this patch feels mostly a nerf to tank destroyer players, mostly, while buffing a few light tank players, which is alright, so more balancing. What I really wanted from this patch is the female crew voice. That's always a plus because immersion, that's always the best. But they do have the optimized memory use as well as the display of some effects, so you do get a better FPS for running this game. That's always nice. But the rest of this patch is mostly premium tank content. But if you don't spend money on this game, the premium tanks mean nothing, so those are out of the way. So basically you're looking at nerf for tank destroyers and buff for light tanks. So if you're playing light tanks, major plus. If you're playing bulldogs, major not plus, or major minus, I guess. So alright, but that's pretty much for the 9.6 test server. Now, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel for more World of Tanks stuff. And thank you guys for watching as always. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So, I've been talking to myself. It's weird. Obviously, it's always weird. But thank you guys for watching this video. Rate this video if you can. That will improve me on what to do next. So leave a comment below on questions or opinions or advice, if you, so to speak, if you prefer, I guess. Alright, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah. To die.